The time is now 9 a.m. The date is September the 2nd, 2025. We will call to order the meeting for Statesboro Mayor and Council. We will have our invocation and pledge of allegiance by Pastor Mark over at the First United Methodist.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, community. I hope you all had as good of a weekend as I've had. And I got a smile on my face. This weather's been beautiful. Let's pray together. Thank you for inviting me to pray.
Absolutely.
Let's pray. Almighty God, your creation is truly, truly speaking to the glory of the Creator. Lord, come be with us as we're here in this community meeting, as we celebrate your movement among us, as we come to be carried by your wisdom and your presence, as we continue to have an attitude of gratitude for this amazing community that we've got the privilege to serve and live in. Lord, let your presence be known throughout this entire community, and pour your blessings into all of our leaders who give of themselves selflessly so that we might have a community future that continues the magnificent legacy of the past. Lord, be with us here in the present. In your holy name, in the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move down to agenda item 3, public comments. Leah, do we have any public comments concerning the agenda?
No, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. We'll move down to agenda item 4, which is consideration of a motion to approve the consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of our August the 19th work session and council minutes, as well as an executive session. It also considers 4B, which is consideration of a motion to surplus a 2020-13 Caterpillar 816F compactor from the Solid Waste Division of Public Works and Engineering. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we want to go down to agenda item 5, which is a public hearing to solicit input on the proposed 2025 millage rate for property taxes. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Mr. Penny, if you'll give us an overview of where we are.
Yes, sir, Mayor. Good morning. On your screen, and call the public's attention to the screens, we have just a brief presentation about the Statesboro property tax recommendation. Move to the next slide. When we did our FY 2026 budget, a couple of objectives that remain very steadfast is that we retain and recruit exceptional employees. And we also have an emphasis on our public safety, meaning our fire and police departments. So when we look at our 2026 budget, when you look at the overall budget, we saw a 6% decrease in our budget. Some of that has to do, FY 2025 was a $93 million budget. And so FY 2026, which is an $87 million budget. Basically, what those changes and the decline in the budget had to do with is we had some grant funds, we had ARPA funds that came in. We also had some other funding, like some FEMA funds. We haven't got completely reimbursed, so some of those things came in during the fiscal year. And so that's why you see a decline in the FY 26 budget. But I call your attention to our general fund because we've seen an 8% increase in our general fund. And basically what happens in our general fund, the majority of our city employees are in the general fund, okay? And so for FY 2025, the general fund was $25,340,025. And for FY 2026, you see an increase to $27,372,225. Basically, when you see that, that increase is attributable, again, the majority of our employees are in that budget, and 60-some%, almost 70% of that budget is all related to employees and fringe benefits. And so you approve the budget and you continue with ensuring that our employees are paid well. And so you also continue with the pay for performance for employees. And this year we were able to adopt a budget and not have any increase in employee health premiums. So the budget that you adopted was adopted with the thought that we want to position Statesboro for growth in the region. And you also wanted to keep up with the pay plan today. And just simply say, when we talk about keeping up with the pay plan, we always like to remind the public and council, the city doesn't make anything. We don't make widgets. We're not a manufacturing plant. Our greatest asset are our employees. So therefore, if we don't have police officers, we don't have water and sewer employees, if we don't have solid waste employees, then we really can't provide the services that our citizens have come to expect. We didn't have firefighters, we wouldn't be able to provide the excellent fire protection that we do here in the city of Statesboro. Next slide. A couple of just concerns and some unknowns. When you look at the city of Statesboro, a lot of people, and you're going to see in a future slide, a lot of folks think about property taxes. And when you think about that $87 million budget, a lot of folks think, well, that must be all taxes. That's not the case. But when you look at this factor, every piece of property inside the city limits of Statesboro is not taxed. And whenever I talk about 25% of those properties inside the city that are not taxed, churches aren't taxed, but they have property in the city. Schools are not taxed. City properties are not taxed. Georgia Southern University, 700 acres of land with all those buildings, they pay no taxes on those properties. However, what they do require city services. When they provide their own police protection, but when there's a fire call, we have to go. Okay? And so the other thing is, we are in what we consider a very tough labor market. With the growth in our community, with Hyundai, this council adopted a pay plan in January of 2024. And that was a couple of things the reason why they did that. We were concerned that with Hyundai coming online, we would see a mass exodus from our city organization to go work for Hyundai. At that time, we were also looking at 18 vacancies in the police department. And since that time, we adopted a pay plan. We have no vacancies in the police department. In fact, we have 3 or 4 overhires. And so far, in the last year, our turnover rate for the city organization as a whole has been less than 5%. So we're very proud of that fact. Next. When we talk about property tax millage rate, I call your attention to the yellow bar. That yellow bar is what our current tax rate is, 8.625. We did not recommend an increase in the millage rate, but what we did recommend is that you not roll that millage rate back. And so the 8.625, you see we're in the middle of the pack there, but we're not the lowest and we definitely aren't the highest. If you look below the yellow bar and you see the orange bar, that is the Board of Education, and their millage rate is at 10.4 mills. And granted, they needed that in order to be able to cover the cost of their employees, the cost of their operations. They've been rolling their taxes back, but you roll the taxes back, and you just have to remember, when you roll the taxes back, the expenses continue to increase. So when you roll it, you're really sort of working against yourself when you do that. And so then the red bar is Bullitt County, and Bullitt County is at 11.350. So the city of Statesboro is definitely lower than our Board of Education and the city of, the Bullitt County. Next slide. So this is the current local property millage rate. Again, 11.35 for Bullock County. I just need for you to understand that 11.35 for Bullock County, 1 meal in Bullock County raises $3.79 million, okay? For the Board of Education, 10.4 the millage rate, it raises approximately 3.77 million. City of Statesboro, at 8.625, approximately, we raise 1 mil will raise us $1.2 million, okay? The reason that is the city of Statesboro is only 16 square miles. Out of almost 700 square miles, we are a very small part of a much larger county. And so the county and the Board of Education, they assess their millage rate on the entire county. The city of Statesboro is only assessing this millage rate on the city of Statesboro city limits. Next slide. So when you look at the general fund and our fire fund highlights, again, just remember the police department, general fund itself is $27 million. The police department budget is $12.6 million. We do a transfer to the fire department. The fire department's budget is almost $8 million, but we transfer from the general fund $3.2 million. And then at the very bottom, you'll see the property tax revenue is 10.5 million, and it's less than the police department budget, okay? And so I know people talk about paying taxes, but when you look at the property tax, our property tax is fairly low. It doesn't even cover the cost of police operations. Next slide. So when you look at the property tax calculation, if you look at a house at a value of $250,000 with a millage rate of 8.625, you have to remember that we only assess 40% of the assessed value of the property. And then you have the homestead exemption of $2,000. So the taxable value of that $250,000 home is really only $98,000. And so the taxes for that that $250,000 home is $845.25. Now, granted, I know nobody likes to pay taxes. I pay them. I don't like to pay them either, but it is a necessary thing for living in this community. But even at 8.625, not rolling our taxes back, we're talking about an increase of $66.25 a year for a property that's valued at $250,000. So, my recommendation to the mayor and the council is to keep the millage rate at 8.625. Again, as I say, I think we could roll it back in order to be revenue neutral. And I believe I'm correct, it's something like 7.9 mils, okay? And so if we were to roll that back, what that would do is that would reduce the revenue that we would be receiving. But that doesn't do anything because our expenses are not declining. And so in order to keep pace with keeping our employees and our water bill, our electric bill, all the things, the supplies that we have to pay for out of the general fund, we believe is the most prudent thing is to maintain our current tax rate at 8.625. So that's my recommendation to the mayor and council, and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Penn. All right, is there anyone that's here to speak for this request? Is there anyone here to speak against this request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, there will be another hearing this evening at 6:30 right here in the council chambers. So if anyone want to come back out or encourage a friend, a community member to come and get firsthand the accurate information, we encourage them to meet us back here at 6:30 this afternoon. I do want to open it up for council if there's any comments by council. All right, thank you. All right, we'll move down to agenda item 6, public hearing to solicit input regarding a multi-year installment sale agreement subject to annual renewal to be entered into between the city of Statesboro and Georgia Municipal Association Incorporated, a Georgia nonprofit corporation relating to the acquisition and construction of a new fire station in the city of Statesboro. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Mr. Penny, if you would give us a little bit of insight on this.
Mayor, members of the council, a couple of months or so ago, we had a presentation, and we've been planning for probably more than 10 years, the need to build a fire station, Fire Station 3. And we purchased land, you approved the purchase of land over on Brandon Street. We came to you in a work session, and we laid out what the cost would be, roughly $4.8 million. Now that includes construction, but it also includes any furnitures and fixtures that would go in that. In order to be able to build that, we can't pay cash for it. We also don't recommend you pay cash for it. We would recommend that we finance the construction of the fire station. However, in order to be able to finance that construction in Georgia, there are limited ways that we can do that. And we're going to recommend to you a little bit later another vehicle that we should have at our disposal. But in order to be able to finance this, GMA has a tool that they can use that we can work with them. And basically what is required, we will have to transfer our property to GMA. And then over the period of time that we pay, that property comes back to us at the very end when we finish the financing. And so this morning, the public hearing is for anyone that might want to speak for or against that. And then you will not actually vote on that transfer today, but in 2 weeks you will be voting on that. In the meantime, we have solicited bids from financial institutions to actually finance the construction of the project. And so this is the first step in transferring our property over to the Georgia Municipal Association in order to be able to actually finance the construction of the project. We're on tap. We've selected the firm. It's a design build project. I think Lavender and Associates is actually going to build the building for us. They're working with an architect to design it. We've also have an engineering firm that's working on the construction to design a short street that will run beside that fire station over there on Brandon Street with a cul-de-sac. And so all of those things are in motion so that we can actually get this project financed and have it constructed with the goal of opening the fire station by the end of June 2026. So hopefully construction can start sometime later this fall. And so with that, Mayor, that's probably more than everybody wanted to know, but it is a necessary process in order to be able to finance the construction of the fire station.
Okay, good. Thank you so much. Is there anyone here to speak for the request? Is there anyone here to speak against the request? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We do want to give council an opportunity to give some feedback. Any feedback from council?
It occurs to me, a parallel to what we did to accomplish Wright's Landing, that sometimes you have to swap properties from one entity to another for the best financing vehicle. So that certainly has been a win for the city and for the residents. So hopefully this will be too.
Yeah, and before, Mayor, I'm sorry, and I would go back even further to the reconstruction of Leavenworth Park and the Kent Street Park. We didn't have to transfer the property, but we had to create an entity that was able to borrow the money, if y'all remember that.
The urban redevelopment.
The urban yes. So, but we're gonna look at something else that we'll bring to y'all before the end of this year.
Okay. All right. And I
We
think that's
sure
strategic.
appreciate staff researching and coming up with the best way to do this.
We'll move down to agenda item 7, which is another public hearing for the first reading of ordinance 2025-09. Ordinance amending chapter 6 of the Statesboro Code of Ordinance to allow for a local distillery alcohol license classification. Is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, Kane, if you will, give us some insight on this.
Mayor and Council, this came before y'all at the last work session. Some local investors are looking to put a small distillery restaurant downtown, and so I was directed to draft an ordinance revision to allow for that. So this would fall into section 6.3, which is the definition section of the alcohol ordinance article. And its local distillery means an establishment in which malt beverages and distilled spirits are manufactured subject to the barrel production and sales limitations prescribed in OCGA sections 3.4.24.2 and 3.5.36. Local distilleries shall be licensed to sell distilled spirits, beer, malt beverages, or wines, and must derive at least 40% of its total annual gross food and beverages sales from the sale of prepared meals, with package sales exempted from this calculation. Local distilleries shall be considered as pubs for the purposes of 6.9 and license fee determination. Local distilleries shall not be required to obtain a city-issued package license for off-premises retail sales of distilled spirits produced within the licensed establishment. So the state law referenced in there, these are the state law sections that dictate the limit of these local microbreweries and micro distilleries. They're only allowed to sell, I think it's like 750 barrels or 1,500 barrels of distilled spirits annually. So anyway, this is with y'all for first reading. We do recommend that this moves forward.
All right, thank you, Kane. All right. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request? Anyone here to speak against this request? All right, is there a motion to close the hearing? Oh.
Mayor?
Don't need you to move real quick.
Yeah, sorry about that. Thank you. I'd just like to give you a little bit of update. This is a downtown project, and I really appreciate Charles. There's nobody bigger supporter downtown than Charles is, so I've always appreciated his support. But this is taking it's a part of a bigger project. What these guys are asking for is to put a business in the downtown environment. I really want to thank the city taking the lead in these streetscapes. It shows the local community investors and business owners that Statesboro is not afraid to take the lead, and they believe in downtown. It's probably the biggest visual change that we've seen. So this project is taking a building that's been underutilized probably for 20 years. It's a whole corner. It's a big deal for us in the downtown environment. It's providing quality of life and things to do. I really have to give a big shout out to Jason, his team. We're building a 2025 in a environment that's 100 years old. So it just takes some work to get brought up to where we can have new businesses in places that were something else 100 years ago. But these guys know that. Brad, David, Justin all jumped in, stepped up to the plate to try to find ways to make it work. So I think the council really needs to know how fortunate we are to have these kind of guys helping to find solutions to problems that can be fixed. So anyway, we got a couple of guys that believe in our community. They're from here. They see where Statesboro is going downtown, and they're willing to invest a lot in it. I'm really proud of them. They're sharp guys. This is not their first project, so we really have a lot of confidence in them. So I just wanted to kind of give a little bit bigger view of what's going on and really thank you guys for stepping up to help guys like this run a good business. And Mayor, we always appreciate what you do. You're a big supporter of downtown as well. So thank you so much.
All right. And this is a point of clarity. The mayor can't do anything without the council. So definitely give the council a big shout out. But thank you. But Alan, your team is doing well with our downtown area. And I often, and I'm just going to take a point of privilege. I can tell you when I was sworn in 2018, we did way too many empty storefronts in our downtown Statesboro. And to see this level of investment and new businesses coming to our downtown area and throughout our community really speaks volumes to good folks believing in a good city with great people. So Thank you for that. So with that being said, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's open this up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? Okay. All right, is there a motion to approve to move forward for the second reading?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we want to go down to agenda item 8, which is a public hearing consideration of a motion to approve application for alcohol license in accordance with the City of Statesboro Alcohol Ordinance, Section 6-13A, Reliance 17412 Incorporated, owner Kushav Shah, location 17412 US 301, license type, package sales, beer and wine only. Excuse me, is there a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. If you will. All right. Okay, any issues with this?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Chief?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Where's Justin?
No issues there.
No issues? Okay. All right, is there anyone here to speak for this request? Chief Graham, any issues?
No issues.
Okay. All right, anyone to speak against this request? Okay. All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Yeah, at this time, we're gonna open it up for council discussion. Any discussion by council? Seeing that there is no discussion, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna move down to agenda item 9, consideration of a motion to rescind the previous approval of the application submitted to Centurion Property 111 South LLC, doing business as South Apartments for funding under the Security Enhancement Incentive Program in the amount of $9,969.50, and to conditionally approve an application submitted by Centurion Properties at 111 South LLC, doing business as South Apartment for funding under the Security Enhancement Incentive Program in the amount of $13,000, subject to the fulfillment of all eligibility requirements. Mr. Penny, will you give us a little bit of insight on that?
Mayor, members of the council, you had approved, that $9,969 grant. Some work didn't get done, and they had, the owners had to go back out and get another bid. And so we are asking you to rescind that grant. But then we're asking you to approve a $13,000 grant. Now, these funds came from ARPA interest, and you set aside $80,000 in order to provide incentive to get people to install, do security enhancement. In this case, we spent everything we have, but it's $13,000.
Okay.
And so what we're recommending is awarding this company $13,000 toward their security enhancement. Now, it's a lot more than, I think the bid might have been almost $40,000. But we don't have funds available. We wouldn't use tax funds in order to do this.
Yeah.
We use, again, we got a little innovative, and we had ARPA funds, which we don't have anymore. And we recommended that we use that interest. And so the $13,000 is a balance of what we have available. Well, we do recommend approval of the rescission and then the approval of the $13,000 grant to this group.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. All right. Any discussion by council? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're gonna move down to agenda item 10, consideration of a motion to approve a memorandum of understanding with Hyman Behavioral Health and Development Disabilities, authorizing the distribution of Statesboro area transit vouchers. Mr. Penny, could you give us a little insight?
We appreciate our partners. I know we've worked with Habitat and now we're working with Conlon to be able to provide vouchers to folks that they serve to be able to use our transit system to get where they need to go. And so this is just a memorandum of understanding with Conlon in order to be able to do that. I do think it's important for folks to recognize the public is able to ride the bus for $1, but it costs more than $1 for them to be able to do that. The cost is $5. Okay. However, because of subsidy, because of T-SPLOST, and funding through Coastal Regional Commission at the state, we're able to provide this service at that dollar rate. And so in this case, Pineland is helping to subsidize opportunities for people to be able to use our transit system. And so we do recommend approval of the MOU.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. You want to open it up for council, any discussion by council?
Haven't happened.
Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving down to agenda item 11, consideration of a motion to approve the Fifth Amendment to the lease agreement with New Singular Wireless PCS AT&T regarding the Paul Howard water tank at 600 Park Avenue to include upgrades to existing cellular equipment. Mr. Penny.
Yeah, I don't know that I can tell you much more. We have a number of cellular companies that are utilizing our water tanks, putting, I guess, their equipment on, and in this case, they need to upgrade. And so whenever they need to upgrade, they just can't go do it. They have to come to us, and we have to get you to approve it. And so that's what we're here for today. This is not a free service, but even though it's not a free service, anytime that they change, we still need to bring it before you to have you approve it. So we do recommend approval.
All right, thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
So it's actually a small source of income for the city.
Oh, it's a nice source of income.
Good.
Any further discussion by council? All right, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we'll move down to agenda item 12, consideration of a motion to donate 5 Motorola portable radios from the Statesboro Fire Department to the citizens assisting in fire emergencies. Mr. Penny.
Yeah, Mayor, member of the council, we've been upgrading our radios, and so I think a couple of meetings ago, you approved the purchase of some new radios. And in this case, these radios are still usable, not for us, but they would be able to be of service to the cafe. So we're recommending that that you give these transfer these 5 radios over to the cafe so that they can use it and provide public assistance in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Penny. Any discussion by council?
Mr. Mayor, could we ask Mr. Penny, our Chief Grams, to remind us what cafe is?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. Yeah, I was on top of that. But council comes first. Are y'all good? Okay, Chief, if you'll give us some insight on that.
Good morning. So the cafe is a group of volunteers that respond with the fire departments, both Bullock County and Statesboro, for structure fires, for victim assistance, and then they also assist with non-firefighter fire ground duties, firefighter rehab, filling bottles, things of that nature. The program's been in place for a long time. We recently transferred it from the Statesboro Fire Department over under the umbrella of Bullock EMA and BOAD. I think that move is already paying off. I think that they've been able to do some good things there. So, as Mr. Penny explained, these radios are not, they weren't necessarily designed for firefighter use. The newer ones that we've replaced them with are much more fit for our folks using inside of those environments. But these are still serviceable. They're harder to find parts to repair, so that's another reason. But this will be a good bridge for them until they can figure out long-term solutions.
Thank you, Chief. Are there any questions for Chief? All right, good deal. Is there a motion by the council to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? All right, moving on to agenda item 13, consideration of a motion to approve a change order on the ENG-122K West Main Street sidewalk project with HD Construction in the amount of $124,180 to be funded by T-SPLOST funds. Mr. Penny.
Mayor, member of the council, I can't remember when we started that project on West Main Street. It was earlier in the spring, So this change order had to do, there was a design error. And the design error is they failed to design it so that there's a catch basin in a portion of the street in the right of way. And so if you were to come through West Main Street after a heavy rainstorm, you would see water standing in the curb line and in the street, and that ain't what we want. And so, one, we've challenged the design firm because it was an error, and so we believe they have some responsibility, and we'll deal with that. But in order to correct the error, we need this change order. It does mean we hate it, but it does mean we're going to need to go in and undo some stuff that's already been done. But we also want to make sure it's done right. And so that cost is $124,180. So we do recommend approval there. But you'll be hearing more after we deal with the company a little bit more, the design firm.
Okay. Any discussion by council? All right, seeing that there is none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, let's move on to agenda item 14, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of a 2026 HX260 International dump truck from Roberts International Trucks in the amount of $206,450.94 for solid waste disposal division to be funded by solid waste disposal reserve funds, insurance, total loss funds, reimbursement. Mr. Pitt.
Not a lot more I can add. This is replacing a 2015 model with 10-year-old vehicle. So we do recommend approval of that.
All right, thank you, Mr. Petty. Any discussion by council? All right, Angie, you want to approve this?
I sure do.
All right, is there a motion?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good deal. We'll move down to agenda item 15, consideration of a motion to approve the purchase of one 2025 Ford F-150 Super Cab XL in the amount of $41,178 and one 2026 F-250 4x2 Super Duty with utility bed in the amount of $55,253 from J.C. Lewis Ford for the Water and Sewer Division of the Public Works Department. These items is to be purchased with funds approved in the FY 2026 Capital Improvement Budget WWD-136 funded by System Revenue. Mr. Penn, is there anything you can add to that?
No, sir. Recommend approval.
Any discussion by council? Seeing that there's none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we're going to go down to agenda item 16, other business from the city council. Is there any other business from the council? All right, seeing that there's none, we're going to city manager comments.
Mayor, members of the council, I just want to make sure that today's second public hearing, the initial memo said 6 o'clock, but we corrected the ad.
The ad is 6:30.
The ad is 6:30. And so the second meeting is at 6:30, and then the third meeting would be at your regular meeting on the 16th at 5:30. But just want to make sure we want to be clear because we don't want to have to redo another hearing. So
Yeah.
so 6:30 is what we did. I know we had a memo out there that we had to correct. The planning board meets at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure the planning board has a chance to come in and do their work and not have to push them out the way in order for us to hold the tax hearing this afternoon. Mayor, just to call your attention to a couple of meetings. We do have, a couple of things. We do have an annexation on Langston Chapel Road. And that is some property that we now own. And we believe it would be a good thing for it to be a part of the city. It's adjacent to our property. So that's that. At the work session, we talked about the stakeholder meeting for the ordinance that relates to salon. And we have 2 meetings scheduled next week. At September 8th, one at 10 in the morning, and then one at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And those meetings will be here in the city council chambers. And that is not just for salons, but we also talked about for massage therapists and for salon operations. So we want to hold those stakeholders meetings before we bring anything before you for your consideration. And I think Mayor and Council, that concludes my comments.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, we do have a couple of vacancies.
Oh, yes. You go ahead.
I'm trying to remember which ones they are, Leah. What do we have vacancies that we're gonna?
The planning commission and then, the KSBB advisory board. We have one vacancy in each one of those.
Great, thank you. So if anybody's interested in serving on KSBB, Keep Statesboro Board Beautiful, go to the website and fill out an application, and same thing for the planning commission.
Mr. Penny, you done?
All right, we'll go down to agenda item 18, public comments. We do have two individuals signed up for public comments. The first we have Mr. Anthony Henderson. Mr. Henderson, if you'll come forward.
Good morning, Mayor.
How you
Good
doing?
morning, City Council. Good morning, Statesboro. My name is Anthony Hendrickson, and I got 3 minutes, so I'm going to go succinctly as possible to let the Mayor and City Council and the great citizens of Statesboro know that who I am. I went to Southeast Bullock High School. I was a Yellow Jacket. I actually went to vocational school in Statesboro. I also went to football summer camp when Irv Russell came to Georgia Southern University and started the program. So that just give you an idea of who I am. My grandmother brought our family down here. She's from here, and we moved down here back in the early '80s, and we went to school here. So I'm a returning. I'm coming home. So this is my niece, and my sister owned Anthony's Cafe right there by Martin Luther King on Main Street. But the purpose of me coming before you is to announce our desire to open up a chapter of the National Police Athletic League. We want to partner with the Sheriff Department and the Police Department. There would not be no heavy lifting on their part. We would do all the work. My organization, Lead by Example versus Trend, work with young people. And in a bunch of areas, public safety, youth development. We work in the schools, right? Those scholars who are off track, we help them get them back on track. That's prevention. Re-entry, those young men and or women who are system impacted or justice involved, we work with them to get them to become productive members of our community and get them job training, job readiness, and job placement. Those who are on probation or parole, we work with them as well. Those who have problems with violence and gang activity, we work with them to get them out of the gangs and then get them from participating in acts of violence to how to manage their emotions. We use evidence-based practices and best practices in our approach. We have a resume of doing this work. Actually, I work with the mayor's office, Adams in New York City. I work with the DA's office, Darcel Clark in the South Bronx. And I work with Rikers Island. But now I want to bring all those tools to the city of Statesboro to help build our community. I'm very proud of the work that I have seen since I've been here, from the time I first came to Statesboro to what is going on now, and it's beautiful. But we would like to come in and put a support system in place to support that demographic so we all can benefit from the growth of what's going on in our great city. We have acquired the space that once was the Habitat of Humanity. I have been fortunate to hold it for 6 months. The fire marshal came out, or the fire department came out, did the inspection, the department built, did the inspection, and gave me a list of things that we need to do in order to get the license. And then we can open up and begin doing fundraisers to get the place open. I just want to read something to you about the mission of, the mission of the National Athletic Police Department, PAL. We're building a transformative youth initiative that bridges law enforcement, education, and I'd say, quote, underserved segments of our community. This campaign will reduce crime and gang activity, prevent juvenile justice involvement, and provide life-changing mentorship to youth ages as young as 5 up to 18 to 24. I brought Mr. JB, I met him the other day. He's a pull of the community, in my humble opinion, based on our conversation. And we want to bring his skills to the young men and or women in this community, to teach them plumbing, electrician, carpentry, masonry. And so they could be part of the progressive development of Statesboro with these contracts that's going on in this building that I see going on everywhere in this great city of ours. So he's coming on to help us because we asked him for support to get that building up to code so we can get it open and begin these services immediately. I'm making my transition from New York back home. I did all I can do there. I'm not leaving because I'm in trouble or anything. My resume is impeccable. Thank God for that. But I do have a great desire to bring this services to the city. My granddaughter goes to the University of Statesboro. Southern University. My niece, her daughter goes to Georgia Southern University. So we here, and we want to be utilized. We want you to take advantage of the skill sets that we have to help put some systems of support in place for those young people who are struggling with finding their way in our community.
Yes.
I've been down, I spoke to people, I asked them what it is that they want, what it is that we can do to help them. And they gave me some feedback. Later on, if possible, I could meet with you, Mayor, and I could report to you what they said to me, and maybe we could put systems in place to support them. And we will track the impact and the outcome of implementing something of this magnitude. I appreciate you for allowing me this opportunity to speak to you, and I appreciate you for accepting me back home. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
No, you didn't need me.
this is my niece. You want to say something?
I really don't have much to say because I feel like who could follow that up. That was great. I think you covered everything.
I did.
For the most
Okay.
part, you covered everything. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Don't forget my point now.
Yes, I got you.
Absolutely. And I want to operate in a spirit of transparency. I had a conversation with Mr. Henderson. It was an impromptu call. We had Dr. Mitchell give him a call. We talked on three-way. And I'm very excited about some of the things that he's talking about. I think it can be a great asset to our community. And then in that conversation with Dr. Mitchell, I did ask her to see if we can do some type of follow-up conversation. And so, Mr. Penny, Demetrius, I wanted y'all to be aware that we did have that conversation with Dr. Mitchell with the hopes that maybe we can coordinate some conversations with some stakeholders just to begin to have some conversations as to where we should go. With that being said, thank you, Mr. Henderson. And we definitely got to catch up. Just to talk, and you brought JB in with you, so that's all I need to see right there. It's a done deal. Absolutely. We got Miss Annie Bellinger. Miss Bellinger, if you want to come forward.
Good morning,
Good morning.
City Councilman, all the attendants. I'm here today because I am concerned about the small children that's living in the west side neighborhood. You got 10 hanging in trees over there, been over there since Hurricane Helene. Where's the money that Helene was supposed to be cleaning up this stuff here in Statesboro? I still see a lot of stuff that needs to be taken care of that's here doing the time. You got children over there instead of swimming in the swimming pool, they're swimming in the nasty ditch water. I got out in the neighborhood myself and asked, why are you swimming in the ditch when you can go over at the pool? They charge too much. $8, from what I understand, to swim. Those kids over there don't have that type of money. Their families, most of them over there, have 3 and 4 kids. How can a person making the money that Statesboro pays and put that much money in kids to go swimming? You build these things for the kids, but you push them out of them because the prices are too high and everything like that. There are, most of those people down in there are welfare people. Most of those people down in there don't even work, don't even own a car. But we can have people come into the city, drive a brand new car every year, and brag about, I can pay my taxes, me and my wife can pay my taxes, and don't worry about it. But you keep raising, or whatever you want to call it, the poor people in that neighborhood tax. You're going to run every one of us out of that place because of the tax. That's what's going to happen to us old people that's been living there all our lives. I've been living in my house 50 years. And I'm going to tell you, right up front, ain't nobody going to come in this city and keep raising taxes and run me out of my house. Ain't nobody going to keep raising the prices in that center over there and running those kids out of there. Because if I have to, I'll take it a little further. So I'm going to give you a chance to find some situations to straighten up some of that stuff that's in that neighborhood. Them ditches has no business being filled with water where those kids get out there and swim in them. The pool was put over there for that reason. They should be able to afford the pool. Ain't no way I'm gonna keep living with Helene's 10 up in the tree. And isn't it been a year, about a year later, he's still up in the tree? Mm-hmm. Nobody has even rolled through there and say, get the 10 out of the tree. 10 could fall and kill some of the children, me, anybody else, if I go back there trying to clean up.
Ms. Andy, where is that at? What street is that on? You're saying the 10 in the street, the 10 is in the street. What street is that? What street is that on?
That's on Johnson Street. Like in there where that old mill, all that tin blew off of it, blew up in the trees behind the house that I takes care of.
Okay. All right, we'll get somebody out there today to check with that. Okay.
But I've already talked to the guy that
I talked to
the
him.
city. He said
I talked to him and said
he was in the process of doing something about it.
Okay. And then in regards to the kids, if I'm not mistaken, there's some vouchers at the Honey Boy building. So if they can't afford to go in, they can get vouchers. So let's take a look at that. And then the cost for the pool is actually $3. And we made that intentional for the kids that's actually in that neighborhood. But if they cannot afford the $3, they have them go down to their parents go to the Honey Boy building and look into getting vouchers for them. Because I know the rec department has set that up.
And you know, some of the programs that y'all were talking about, I don't see where some of them is doing the kids very much good. Because if it was doing good, the jail would not be full of young people out there. They would not be wanting to get funds to expand the jail. You'd be say, don't you build no more jails, we gonna take care of our children, we're not gonna let them be in the jail. Yeah. You wouldn't be out soliciting funds to build more. You just built some of the jail a few years back. Why you just keep expanding the jail? Why don't you expand something over there to help those kids from being in the jail? Because it's not no fun in the jail, I can tell you that.
Yeah, and that was actually our conversation with the county. What we told the county was that if you're gonna build a $60 million jail, let's take $15 million and build a youth facility. But they walked away from the table, and we got the jail. We got a $60 million jail. We lost our opportunity to have a $15 million youth facility within our community. So the city of Statesboro, we advocate for the exact same thing that you're talking about. It's just that we got to have willing partners. And what we told them in that conversation was that you're gonna have to finance the $60 million to build a jail. And if you're gonna finance that, leverage some of those SPOS funds that they're using to build the jail with to build a $15 million youth facility so we can have recreational activities, program activities for our young people within our community. But unfortunately, that fell through and we are now left with another cycle of SPOS funds and no youth facility. But we're passionate about it. We're going to keep working towards it, and hopefully one day we can make that happen.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Anderson.
Because it's sad to know
It is.
the amount of
Yeah.
black kids that,
Yeah,
you know,
any
kids,
community- Oh, I'm
kids
sorry,
just
Ms. Anderson.
can't.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
But any community that failed to invest into its young people has failed to invest into its future. And I stand beside that.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll speak just for a second.
Go right ahead.
I'm Marcus Toole of Habitat for Humanity.
All right, that's enough.
I just want to say just how happy I am that our old building is being put to such good use. Before I came back to Georgia, I did 8 years working on a Plains Cree Indian reservation in Canada, specifically doing street gang intervention work. And so I cannot think of a better use for that building than what these guys are putting it to. And I want to thank them that's what it's going for. That's actually a relief to me that building's being put to the best and highest possible use that it can have. Thanks.
All right, good. Thank you, Marcus. Any other public comments? All right, seeing that there is none, we will go ahead and move on to take my glasses off so I can see. I know. I'm at the age where I gotta take my glasses off to see them. We do have executive session personnel. Is there anything other than personnel? No? Okay. All right, consideration of a motion to enter into executive session to discuss personnel matters in accordance with OCGA 50-14-3B. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Is there a second? All those in favor?